Have you ever noticed that the loudest person in the room isn't always the most powerful? In fact, the people with the most influence often do the least talking. They don't demand attention, they attract it. And that's because real power follows a set of hidden rules that almost nobody teaches you. Once you see these rules, you'll start noticing them everywhere. Imagine two people walking into the same meeting. One immediately starts talking, trying to prove how smart they are. The other quietly listens, says almost nothing, and only speaks when everyone else is finished. Hours later, whose words do you remember? Probably the second person's, because the first hidden rule of power is this: scarcity creates value. The more available your words, your time, and your attention become, the less valuable they appear. Diamonds are valuable because they're rare. Attention works the same way. Powerful people understand that silence isn't weakness, it's leverage. Here's something strange. When someone constantly explains themselves, apologizes for every decision, or tries to convince everyone they're right, people often trust them less. Why? Because confidence doesn't need constant proof. Think about it. Have you ever argued with someone online for hours, trying to prove your point? Even if you were right, did anyone suddenly respect you more? Probably not. That's because the second hidden rule is this: the person who needs approval gives away power. The more desperately you chase validation, the more control you hand to other people. Real influence begins the moment your decisions stop depending on applause. Now here's a rule that most people completely miss. Imagine you're negotiating a salary. One person fills every awkward silence with more talking. The other simply waits. Those few silent seconds feel uncomfortable, but they often lead to better offers. Why? Because silence creates pressure. Humans naturally want to fill empty space. The person who stays calm lets everyone else reveal more than they intended. That's the third hidden rule. Silence makes people reveal themselves. You don't learn about people by talking. You learn by watching. Powerful people notice tiny things most others ignore. Who interrupts? Who gets nervous? Who changes their opinion depending on who's watching? These details tell you far more than words ever will. And here's the biggest mistake people make. They think power comes from controlling others. It doesn't. The greatest form of power is controlling yourself. If someone insults you and you instantly react, they've controlled your emotions. If one bad comment ruins your day, they've controlled your peace. If praise changes your identity and criticism destroys it, your power belongs to everyone except you. The strongest people aren't impossible to hurt. They're simply difficult to manipulate. And that's what makes them dangerous. So the next time you walk into a room, don't ask yourself, how can I impress everyone? Ask a better question. What happens if I don't need to? Because real power isn't about speaking louder. It's about becoming so secure that your presence speaks before you ever do. And once you stop chasing power, people start feeling it.